BSN. Finish first. Brandon Curry Unleashed is brought to you by Nitrix. Maximize your potential. Today on Brandon Curry Unleashed.
One of the biggest ways to grow big biceps, I guess, is to use compound movements. I mean, if you're training real hard and your biceps not growing or shrinking, maybe you're not using enough control, maybe you're not concentrating. Forearms may be a muscle that you want to attack. You have to look at your kind of genetic structure and see where you're weak. One of the biggest ways to grow big biceps, I guess, is to use compound movements, use variations of rep ranges and intensities. I mean, some people may respond better from a 6 to 8 rep range for biceps, but whenever you drop the reps, you have to increase the amount of volume that you do, the amount of sets that you do. So, maybe 6 sets of 6 or something for bicep training wouldn't be a bad approach. I'm sure I've trained a little bit like that in my past. But I've also trained with more moderate intensities, using up to 15 to 20 reps at a time also. But I think if you really want well-rounded biceps, you have to work the different variations of the wrist position with the different rep ranges. The brachialis is a more powerful muscle group, and if your wrist can handle it, or you can just choose hammer curls to really just attack that muscle group. I also know that the bicep ladder, which I use, really hits the brachialis pretty hard also, for some strange reason. When it comes to it, you just want to be complete. So whenever you go through a lot of training, a little bit of bagging off or deconditioning and coming back and training again is sometimes the way to progress. So you don't go through the overkill. I mean, if you're training real hard and your biceps not growing or shrinking, maybe you're not using enough control, maybe you're not concentrating. Practice a constant tension method or something like that so you can get better recruitment. That's constant tension is basically where you never let the muscle relax. If I let it straight, it's relaxed. I can't have a bicep contraction, but if I leave it slightly bent, constantly work that range where the tension is constant and squeeze the muscle like I'm flexing it to pose, that may be the missing link to what you're doing in any kind of training or any muscle. So that may be something you want to practice. Just try it out.
Nitrix. Get yours now at bodybuilding.com.
When it comes to forearm training, when you first start training for bodybuilding, I guess, forearms may be a muscle that you want to attack. You have to look at your kind of genetic structure and see where you're weak. If you have a problem with forearm development, then that's the only time I may suggest that you may not, don't train with straps. I didn't train with straps for a long period of time, and that may be why I have a base of forearm development. So work your forearms and don't train with straps. Don't train with straps for a little while and see if that helps your grip strength and your forearm development. But also make sure you work the reverse movement or the extension of the wrist just as much as the flexion of the wrist. Because you may be inhibiting muscle growth by having a muscle that's way too dominant over the other. So you don't develop a complete package. One of the things that I found to be really effective for bicep training and the barbell curl in general, a lot of people use the barbell curl, and I don't know if you can see me here, but they curl out and they lift with the shoulders and they try to bring it to their chin. Whenever you see me do a curl, for the most part, it's a barbell curl. The bar is close to my body, and my arms travel back like this instead of out in front. Now, when you look at this position here, you see that there's always tension on my bicep right here. It never leaves. It's fully contracted. It can't go any higher, and the tension is directly on the bicep at the peak of contraction. When you're here, how much tension do you have on the bicep? The tension, if you really push on it, you have it on your shoulder. In order to get bicep tension, you may have to be working with cables so it can pull it that direction. But you don't have tension, that constant tension that you would need. So I encourage you, instead of just bringing your elbows in front of the body or trying to pin them too close to the side, let that elbow drift back just a little bit, and you may get some better bicep workouts.